coupled with more needles is not the answer to the city's problems. The city cannot continue to balance its budget on the backs of employees and retirees. That is the end of our official statements, and I will talk individually to you all as you please.
Brian, can you tell us how this equates the money that the mayor says needs to be reduced in your department? How does that equate to the numbers of police officers potentially being laid off?
We have not been given, the FOP has not been given a hard number of what the exact reduction in our budget will be with the police department, but it's significant enough that we know that there are not enough line items to be cut without cutting employees if the mayor goes forth with his proposal.
How many employees?
We have been told it's up to 32.
Is that just for the FOP?
That is for the police department.
Can you go into a little bit more detail about if these layoffs do in fact become a reality? I mean, Huntington has a growing drug problem. What is going to happen to that drug problem?
Well, I'm obviously not able to tell the future, but based on the 2002 layoffs, I would say that it would hit epic proportions as it did then. If you remember, at that time, we were cut drastically down to about 74 police officers. We were running six-man shifts, and we could not even answer the in-progress calls, much less take proactive police steps. I would say it would once again open the floodgates for out-of-town drug dealers to come here and to operate, and this would again become what the Detroit people called money.
The city says it has many other options besides laying off personnel or operations within the police and fire department. Yeah, they won't tell us what those are yet, say they'll come out tonight's news. Have any clue what those might be?
I have not been informed of what those options are.
How many officers are on the force, and have you mentioned at all which officers will be cut? You mentioned 32, but do you know which one?
We have 109 sworn police officers, and by civil service it goes in reverse seniority. The ones with the least seniority go, and we go up the list that way.
What is that like for you all? You just had waves of recruitment to have to look at turning around and saying you might not have a job.
Well, as I said before, our ability to recruit and retain qualified employees will be virtually non-existent. Obviously, the people we have now, we think they're qualified employees. We know they are. We've trained them. We spent thousands of dollars, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of years training them. We'll lose people, and I think we not only will lose people on the bottom end, we'll get people with enough seniority to stay, but they'll go to other departments where they'll have better benefits, better working conditions, and better job security. And you can't blame them. They have families. They have children. They have wives. They have mortgage payments. They have to look out for themselves. So this will not just affect us now. This will affect us years in the future. Our ability to recruit employees is hindered now, still based on the 2002 layoffs. When I was hired in 1994, we had 400 and some people actually take the exam for the police department. We now have 50 taken because they're afraid of this very scenario that they're going to be laid off.
We're going to hear from firefighters too.
Yes, absolutely. If they wish to speak, absolutely.
How safe will Huntington be if these layoffs become a reality?
Well, obviously, the men and women of the Huntington Police Department will do our best, and I'm confident our chief will restructure the department to the best of his ability. But obviously, it can't be as safe as it is now. There's no way. If you cut virtually a third of the police department, you can't expect the same level of service, the same level of safety. I don't think any rational person would think you could.
Back in 5 years ago, the budget cut about $4 million. And you talked about why today excited to cut.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not a budget person, so when you talk about the cuts in 2 years ago, I cannot speak with any authority on that. But we think that this was set up by mismanagement of the budget at this time last year. We think that the budget wasn't properly prepared, and it's led to these cuts at this point.
Brian, considering the layoffs that you guys face, council recently approved a raise for the mayor. Your guys' take on that?
That could probably be an entire press conference in itself. I will say this. The FOP has stated that we do think the mayor deserves, the position of the mayor deserves to be compensated adequately for properly leading the city. However, at this point, we don't feel like it's being properly led. So our position is that that position, done properly, deserves that compensation. We're not so sure that this mayor deserves that compensation. I'm not going to speak for the chief. And I was just reminded, obviously, I'm the one speaking today, but this also affects the fire department too. They're facing cuts. It's been reported in social media that it could be up to 50. I think the number is about 36. There again, that's a little over a third of their department. And I can't speak to how that would affect fire safety. I'm not a fireman. But if he was...
Step one up. Yes, sir. Ray Canavax with firefighters. An impact, that kind of impact from that level of cuts to services is going, there's no way around it. It's going to affect services within the city.
How?
And our ability to provide protection. Along with those 36, there has been talk, again, it's at this point, we don't know for certain, but there's been talk that there could possibly be up to 2 fire stations that will be closed. Any opportunity, or any time you take firefighters or fire stations out of the community, you are putting citizens at risk. It's going to affect our ability to respond quickly. It's going to make our response time slower. Our guys are still going to continue to do the best job that they possibly can. We're going to try to get to every call as quickly as possible within the time that we need to get there. But when you take a station away or you take people away, that makes that job that much more difficult.
Let me ask you what I asked Brian. So if the cuts in your department, in your area become a reality, how safe will Huntington be?
I will reflect back to, I believe it was 2011, 2012 was the last time that staffing levels were dropped significantly as our day-to-day operations. We were much lower staff on the job, total number. That has been increased since then. When that happened back in 2011, 2012, there was a significant number of arson fires within the city. Our guys were fighting fires almost every day, if not more than one a day.
How much did the drop was in 2011, 2012?
Our normal day-to-day operations within the Huntington Fire Department is we staff a minimum of 28 people a day. That allows us to provide adequate staffing to our apparatus throughout the city and all of our stations to make sure that we can have that quick response. Back in 2011, 2012, we were dropped all the way down to 18 people a day. That was 10 people off the streets every single day. This kind of cut that we're hearing possibly happen will probably do the same thing.
Again, have you heard anything about any other options that the city says it has in lieu of laying off firefighters and police officers?
No, sir. We haven't been made aware of what the other options could be at this point.
Shouldn't you have been?
I would think so.
Wouldn't it have been better to plan?
How many current firefighters?
Currently, we have 95 firefighters on the job.
And does it work the same way as police?
Yes, by civil service, it would go from the least senior guy would be the first one to be laid off if that were to happen. And then it would work its way up from the bottom.
What do you see for the future of your staff if you have all of these people that have been recruited being laid off?
Again, I think I echo what Brian said with the police department. It's going to affect our ability to recruit people. Guys, we just gave the list. We actually just hired off of the list back in November, right after Thanksgiving. Our new guys started. Guys that are on the list are not going to want to come here. Guys that just got trained that we spent a lot of money on to get them prepared to start riding the fire trucks to provide safety to the citizens. They're going to be looking at other places to go, other fire departments out there that they could leave and go, have better security, better pay, and be safer while they're doing it.
Could this be, Brian was asked before about impact we talked about something like sanitary stop some of those and things like that. Set out to whistles blows except fee increases?
At this point, all I can do is speculate on that. It's hard to say.
Thanks, Ray.
I've been told the proposed cuts would be about 7 to our ASME local. That's about 10%. Back, what year?
I've been there 25 years.
At one point, they had over 300 employees. They're down to 70 some employees at this point. I mean, they've been cut to the bone, and they're asking for 7 more positions in essence, which obviously is going to affect essential city services such as trash pickup, street cleaning, leaf pickup, and such like that. It should also be important to note that we're talking about recruiting, and we just hired several officers. We have 3 in the academy now, 1 on field training. These officers, a couple of these officers have left other jobs. You know, they quit jobs, moved here, bought houses based on that they want to be a Huntington police officer. And now, while they're in the academy, they don't even have a voice here other than us. They can't even be here to speak for themselves. You know, their jobs are at risk. This just sends a horrible, horrible message to the citizens of Huntington and any potential future hires that Huntington is not a stable job, and it should be. There's no reason that this city cannot flourish. Well, right now, we're floundering with this leadership, and we should be flourishing. There's no excuse for it.
Question. We raised the user fee from $3 to $5 in October 2015, supposed to go directly to your all's funding. How is that playing or not helping in the situation?
The user fee, how that has helped the police department?
Or not? If
It has not, because we have seen zero increase in it.
You've actually not received
So
any money from
we,
them?
this time, we're concluding the press conference. And like I said, if somebody wants to speak with me, I'm more than happy. Thank you very much for showing up.